Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're popping the hood on the invisible engine that really runs our world, the global supply chain. It's the whole reason you can get coffee from Kenya in Kansas or a phone built in China delivered pretty much anywhere. So let's get into how this whole thing actually works. You know the feeling, right? Staring at that empty shelf where your favorite snack is supposed to be, or getting that email. Your package has been delayed. Ugh! Well, these aren't just random, frustrating moments. They're actually symptoms of a gigantic, incredibly complex system that's constantly under pressure. You know, our whole modern way of life is built on top of this global machine. It's a sprawling network of factories, container ships, trucks, warehouses, and, of course, people, all working together to get something from a raw material all the way to your doorstep. And the pros who manage this beast, they're on a constant mission to try and tame all that complexity. So how do they do it? Well, their first big strategy in this fight is a philosophy known as lean. And you can think of it as just an all-out war on being inefficient. The basic idea behind lean is actually pretty simple. It's all about this. If a customer isn't willing to pay for an activity, then it's waste. Simple as that. In Japanese, the term is Muda. So the whole mission for people who practice lean is to just ruthlessly hunt down this waste and get rid of it. So what are they actually looking for? Well, waste comes in all kinds of flavors. There's the obvious stuff like the waste of things, making too much product or having way too much inventory just sitting around. Then there's the waste of time, like workers just waiting for parts to show up, or people walking back and forth unnecessarily. And there's even the waste of human potential, like not tapping into the ideas and creativity of your employees. Basically, if it's an inefficiency, it's a target. And listen, this isn't just some abstract theory. This is real-world stuff. Toyota completely changed the game in manufacturing with its just-in-time system. It's a perfect example of lean in action. They figured out how to build cars with the absolute minimum amount of inventory and waiting, which just skyrocketed their efficiency and pretty much set a new gold standard for the entire world. But okay, getting rid of waste, that's really only half the battle. The other half is this scientific, data-obsessed mission to achieve perfection. And that's where something called Six Sigma comes into play. Now, Lean and Six Sigma are often used together because they're attacking two different but related problems. Here's a simple way to think about it. Lean makes you fast by fighting waste. Six Sigma makes you precise by fighting defects and variation. They're really just two sides of the same coin when you're aiming for operational excellence. So what does perfection mean in Six Sigma terms? The goal is to get so good, so consistent, that your process creates fewer than 4 defects for every million chances it has to make one. That's a quality level of 99.99966%. It's an absolutely mind-boggling standard of consistency. Okay, but why shoot for something so ridiculously perfect? Because when you're operating at a global scale, even the tiniest errors have enormous costs. I mean, look at this. For a company like Amazon, on a huge day like Cyber Monday, the difference between being pretty good and being Six Sigma good is literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in costs from errors in a single day. That's the real power of stamping out variation. You don't get to that level of precision by just winging it. There's a very systematic battle plan, and it's called DMAIC. It's a 5-step loop. You start by defining the problem you want to solve. Then you measure your current performance. You analyze all the data to find the true root cause. Then you improve the process with a smart solution. And finally, and this is crucial, you control it to make sure the fix actually sticks. It's a constant cycle of data-driven improvement. So we have the philosophies, right? But what are the actual weapons that these supply chain heroes use in their day-to-day fight? Well, the answer, more than anything else, is data. This is so important. The days of running a massive supply chain based on gut feelings or just years of experience, they're gone. It just doesn't work anymore. Today, it's all about evidence. Every single major decision has to be backed up by hard data, careful measurement, and clear performance metrics. So where do you even begin? Well, before you can improve any process, you have to be able to see it clearly. A very common first step is creating a high-level map. A popular tool for this is called a SIPO chart. It helps you identify the key suppliers, the inputs they provide, the core process, the outputs, and the customers. It's like creating a simple blueprint of the entire system. Okay, once you have your map, you need to figure out what good actually looks like from your customer's point of view. They might just say something vague, like they want good service. But what does that really mean? A tool called a CTQ, or critical to quality tree, helps translate that into specific things you can actually measure. So good service suddenly becomes answer the phone within 3 rings, or deliver the package within 24 hours, or make sure the order is 99% accurate. See? Now you have concrete targets you can track and work on. From there, analysts start collecting mountains of this kind of raw data. It could be anything. Call volumes every hour, inventory levels, truck transit times. On its own, though, it's really just a sea of numbers. But then they take all that raw data and feed it into incredibly powerful business intelligence tools. These platforms take those boring numbers and turn them into visual dashboards and easy-to-read reports. Suddenly, you can see patterns, trends, and insights that were totally hidden before. And these insights, they fuel the whole business. Companies use this data to do things like forecast what customers are going to want in the future. Then they use that forecast to get sales, marketing, and operations all working from the same playbook. That lets them plan their resources perfectly. They're even using AI now to scan the news, weather, and social media to try and spot the next big disruption before it even happens. And that brings us to a final and honestly a really crucial idea. In supply chain management, you never actually reach the finish line. The hunt for a perfect process, it's a journey that never, ever ends. The cultural engine that drives this constant journey is the Japanese philosophy of Kaizen. It means continuous improvement. It's all about creating a culture where every single person in the company, from the CEO all the way down to the person on the factory floor, is always looking for small ways to make things just a little bit better every single day. And this quest is always evolving. I mean, the next set of challenges is already here. How do you build a supply chain that's not just fast and cheap, but also sustainable and ethical? How do you make it tough enough to handle the next global pandemic or political crisis? And how do you knit together all this new tech, AI, sensors, blockchain, to get total visibility from the farm to the front door? So the next time your package shows up right on time, or you find exactly what you were looking for on the store shelf, just take a second. Think about the incredible invisible machine that made it all happen. It's a system that is constantly learning, constantly adapting, run by thousands of people on a never-ending mission to make it just a little bit better.